session resumes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now proceed with the additional reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of the bills and resolutions on first reading as well as communications and committee reports.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading as well as communications and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committee.
Additional reference of business, bills on first reading, House Bill 11002, declaring May 27 of every year as K-Respect Day in the Philippines, by Representative Magsino.
To the Committee on Information and Communications Technology.
House Bill 11003, establishing the National Center for Child Protection, by Representative Gonzaga.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 11004, establishing a public health approach to Philippine drug policy, by Representative Sandania.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 11005, requiring the recognition of healthcare proxies by all health facilities through the issuance of a right to care card, by Representative Sandania.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 11006, authorizing the city or municipal civil registrar and the consul general to change the sex and the first name of an intersex person appearing in the civil register without the need of a judicial order, by Representative Sandania.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 11007, an act against the practice of endo and contracting, by Representative Sandania.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 11008, regulating the rational exploration, development, and utilization of mineral resources, by Representative Sandania.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill 11009, upgrading the benefits and incentives of Barangay Tanod members who have rendered at least 1 year of service in the barangay government, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 11010, expanding PhilHealth coverage to include benefit package to all mental health disorders, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 11011, institutionalizing the grant of financial compensation and/or assistance to individuals engaged in business of livestock, poultry, and fish farms affected by disease and natural disasters, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 11012, providing monthly financial assistance to indigent PWDs, by Representative Luistro.
To the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities.
House Bill 11013, reducing wastage by donating the and recycling excess edible food, by Representative Luistro.
To the Special Committee on Food Security.
House Bill 11014, providing monthly maintenance medication support for senior citizens, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 11015, establishing programs and services for the support of the mental health and wellness of teachers, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 11016, providing for the Magna Carta of the out-of-school youth, by Representative Santos.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 11017, establishing a unified electronic medical records for all patients of public hospitals and clinics, by Representative Santos.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 11018, requiring the inclusion of financial literacy and entrepreneurship as separate core subjects in the junior and senior high school curricula of the K-12 program, by Representative Santos.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 11019, providing free legal services and assistance to farmers registered in cooperative or government agencies exercising authority over farmers in their registration and cadastral cases, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 11020, providing leave incentives and benefits for men who underwent andrological procedures, by Representative Luistro.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 11021, prohibiting and penalizing the production, printing, publication, importation, sale, distribution, and exhibition of pornographic movies and materials, the exhibition of live sexual acts, and the uploading or posting of obscene materials through digital platforms, by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Bill 11022, establishing dangerous drugs courts, by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Justice and the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
House Bill 11023, increasing the salaries of public and private healthcare workers or providers, granting them mandatory benefits and allowances during pandemics, epidemics, and other public health emergencies by Representative Abante.
to the Committee on Health and the Committee on Appropriations,
House Bill 11024, amending further the DILG of 1990 and the PNP Reform Act and Reorganization Act of 1998 by Representative Abante.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill 11025, amending the Investors Lease Act to extend the maximum lease period of private lands to foreigners by Representative Vergara.
to the Committee on Trade and Industry,
House Bill 11026, providing for the reintegration of repatriated OFWs into the Philippine workforce and business sector by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Overseas Workers' Affairs,
House Bill 11027, establishing an educational scholarship program for immediate dependents of OFWs who died or suffered permanent disabilities while working abroad or overseas by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Overseas Workers' Affairs,
House Bill 11028, strengthening animal welfare standards, enacting a revised Animal Welfare Act by Representative Remulla.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
Resolutions. House Resolution 2051, urging all relevant government agencies to streamline, simplify, and liberalize the requirements and processes that burden the general public with respect to government programs, services, and emergency assistance and response by Representative Lee.
to the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation,
House Resolution 2052, urging the DepEd to review and draft policies concerning the career path of non-teaching academic personnel in the schools division offices by Representative Romulo.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Resolution 2053, congratulating and commending Ms. Christine Julian CJH Opiaza for winning the first runner-up position in the recently concluded Miss Grand International Beauty Pageant in Bangkok, Thailand on Friday, October 25, 2024 by Representative Plato.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2054, urging the Committee on Transportation to conduct an inquiry on the issuance of LTO guidelines in the immediate transfer of ownership of motor vehicles with existing registration by Representative Plato.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2055, urging the appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry into the reported cases of Filipino women being illegally recruited and trafficked abroad to become surrogate mothers in an infant trafficking scheme by Representative Magsino.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2056, urging the Committee on Overseas Workers' Affairs to conduct an inquiry into the implementation of the various programs and projects of concerned national government agencies on the reintegration of OFWs upon their permanent or intermittent return to the Philippines by Representative Magsino.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2057, expressing profound condolences of the House of Representatives on the demise of former Pagsanhan Laguna Mayor Girly Maita Sanchez Javier Ejercito by Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2058, congratulating and commending the 10-2024 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos by Representative Olivares.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2059, calling for immediate ratification by the Philippine government of International Labor Convention Number 188, otherwise known as Work and Fishing Convention 2007 by Representative Mendoza.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Resolution 2060, congratulating and commending the Philippine Dragon Boat team for being the overall champion of the ISCF Dragon Boat World Championships held at the Puerto Princesa Baywalk from October 31st to November 3, 2024 by Representative Plato.
to the Committee on Youth and Sports Development,
House Resolution 2061, urging the DOE to suspend the full commercial operations of the reserve market to prevent further rate increases for consumers, and the ERC to review the price determination methodology for the reserve market by Representatives De Jesus and Dagoo.
to the Committee on Energy,
House Resolution 2062, expressing the profound condolences of the House to the family of Honorable Candido P. Pancrudo Jr., former representative of the 1st Legislative District of the Province of Bukidnon during the 14th Congress, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales Aurelio, Dalipe, Libanon, Marcos, Romualdez, Sieda Marie, and Asidre.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 2063, congratulating and commending Rian Micaela A. Maliksi for winning the prestigious 124th Women's U.S. Amateur Golf Championship held at Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA, and the 75th U.S. Girls Junior Golf Championship held at El Caballero Country Club in Tarzana, California, USA, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales, Aurelio, Dalipe Libanan, Marcos, Romualdez, Sierra Marie, and Asidre.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message from the Senate. Message dated November 4, 2024, informing the House of Representatives that on even date, the Senate passed without amendment House Bill 9656 on renaming the Mindanao Central Sanitarium in Pasobolong, Zamboanga City to Zamboanga Regional Medical Center.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communications. Letter dated September 2, 2024 of the Cebu Port Authority General Manager presenting to the House of Representatives a copy of their annual report for 2023.
To the Committee on Transportation.
Letters dated September 4 and 26, 2024 of the COA Chairperson furnishing the House with copies of their annual audit reports on the Supreme Court of the Philippines for calendar year 2023 and PhilHealth for calendar years 2022 and 2023.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated September 6, 2024 of the BIR Commissioner submitting to the House a copy of their consolidated monthly report of disbursements for the month of August 2024.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
Letters dated September 10 and 13, 2024 of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity with an attached copy of the OPAPRU's financial report for the month of August 2024, informing the House that the said financial report has been submitted to the Unified Reporting System and posted on their official website.
To the Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity.
Letter dated September 18, 2024 of the DTI Acting Secretary, submitting to the House a copy of their 2023 Annual Accomplishment Report.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
Letter dated September 18, 2024 of the COA Audit Team Leader Team R904, Regional Office 9, furnishing the House with a copy of their annual audit report on the Jose Rizal Memorial State University System for the year ending December 31st, 2023.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated September 18, 2024 of the Sandigan Bayan Presiding Justice, submitting to the House a copy of the 45th Annual Report of the Sandigan Bayan for calendar year 2023.
To the Committee on Justice.
Letter dated September 23, 2024 of the COA Regional Director, Regional Office 4B, furnishing the House with copies of their annual audit reports for the year ending December 31st, 2023 on certain state universities and colleges, standalone agency, and water districts.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated September 26, 2024 of the Commission on Population and Development Executive Director, submitting to the House a copy of their Philippine Population and Development Plan of Action for 2023 to 2028.
To the Committee on Population and Family Relations.
Memorandum dated September 26, 2024 of the PIDEA Director General, copy furnished the House, submitting to the Office of the President a copy of their operational accomplishment and assessment report for August 2024.
To the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
Letters dated September 26, 2024 of the COA Chairperson, submitting to the House copies of the following reports as of December 31st, 2023. Calendar Year 2023 Annual Financial Report for Government Corporations. Calendar Year 2023 Annual Financial Report for Local Government, including Bangsamoro Government, Volumes 1 and 2. And Fiscal Year 2023 Annual Financial Report for National Government, Volumes 1 and 2.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letters dated October 3 and 7 of the Bank Officer 6, BSP, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, transmitting to the House duly certified copies of certain BSP issuances.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
2023 Judiciary Annual Report.
To the Committee on Justice.
2023 Annual Report of DTI.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
Consolidated and annual audit reports for the years ending December 31st, 2022 and December 31st, 2023 on certain government agencies.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letters dated October 9 and 18 of the Executive Secretary, Office of the President, submitting 2 original copies each of the following Republic Acts, which were signed by the President. Republic Act numbers 12025, 12026, 12029, 12030, 12031, 12032, 12033, 12034, 12035, and 12036, creating additional branches of Metropolitan and Regional Trial Courts, and Republic Act Number 12028, establishing an academic recovery and accessible learning program.
To the Archives.
Committee reports. Committee Report 1243, submitted by the Committee on Natural Resources on House Bill Number 11032. Committee Report Number 1244, submitted by the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation on House Bill Number 11035.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, may we recognize the guests of Representative Dale B. Corvera from the 2nd District of Agusan del Norte. They are namely Mr. Orencio S. Corvera Jr., Noed P. Serrano, John Henry Balansag, Jenny D. Fabian, Darwin Hingpit, Tessie Becerril, Hani Panyamogan, Nibika May Calixto.
We welcome the guests of the Honorable Dale Corvera. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, may we recognize the guests of our Deputy Speaker Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza. They are from the National Coalition of Small-Scale Miners, namely Josephine Balonga, the President, Arlene Honrade, Secretary, Wilfredo Goles, the Auditor, Reggie Elnar, Rolando Santos, Rizaldi De Viana, Rudy Beleza, Neil Peza, Lorna Padua, Midilin Antones, Sheila Cañete, Shirley Suzara, Sarah Marie Aviado, Charity Elcano, Denver Suzara, Nathaniel Tak Asistin, Leopoldo Badjola, Joseph Patil Ay, Engineer Dwight Damale, Engineer Paul Badjola, Vincent Balonga, and Raymunda Alagbate.
We welcome the guests of Deputy Speaker Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza, the guests from the National Coalition of Small-Scale Miners. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Mabuhay po kayo. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now proceed to the consideration of measures under the calendar of business.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, I move that we now consider House Bill number 10867 as contained in Committee Report number 1197 submitted by the Committee on Muslim... submitted by the Committee on Muslim Affairs. Mr. Speaker, copies of the bill resolution have been previously distributed to the members. I request, therefore, that the Secretary General be instructed to read the title only of the bill without prejudice to the insertion into the records of the text thereof.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill 10867.
House Bill number 10867, an act providing better services to Muslim Filipino pilgrims through privatization of the annual Hajj pilgrimage, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9997, otherwise known as the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Mohamed Khalid Dimaporo from the 1st District of Lanao del Norte to sponsor the measure.
The gentleman from the 1st District of Lanao del Norte, the Honorable Mohamed Khalid Q. Dimaporo, is recognized to sponsor the measure.
A'udzu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, and my dear colleagues here today. It is my honor to endorse to the plenary for second reading House Bill 10867 under Committee Report 1197, which seeks to reduce government control of the annual Hajj pilgrimage for Muslim Filipinos. This bill is a product of the disservice of the National Commission of Muslim Filipinos against Muslim Filipino pilgrims for the 2022 and 2023 Hajj pilgrimage. After the 2022 Hajj pilgrimage, House resolutions were referred to the Committee of Muslim Affairs to investigate the NCMF. The committee found the NCMF guilty of gross negligence. after the 2023 Hajj pilgrimage, House resolutions were referred to the Committee on Public Accounts to investigate the NCMF once again. And the committee, if I remember correctly, found the NCMF guilty of negligence and possibly graft and possibly also violation of our procurement laws. It is for this reason that the Committee of Muslim Affairs is proposing to restrict the NCMF's control over the Hajj pilgrimage for Muslim Filipinos and turn it over to the private sector. And with this House bill that we are presenting today under second reading, I hope for the kind support and approval of the 19th Congress and my colleagues here today. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now recognize Representative Bai Dimple I. Mastura of the Lone District of Maguindanao del Norte for her sponsorship speech.
The Honorable Bai Dimple Mastura of the Lone District of Maguindanao del Norte is recognized to also sponsor the measure.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Greetings of peace. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, vital to Muslim belief, imperative as the other 4 pillars such as profession of faith or shahada, prayer or salat, alms or zakat, and fasting or psalm. According to Islamic belief, a Muslim must make a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in his or her lifetime, if he or she is able. It is the most spiritual event a Muslim could ever experience, observing rituals in the most sacred places in the Islamic world. Sa madaling salita, ang pag-Hajj ay di lamang isang importanteng gawain, kundi isang sagradong pangrelihiyong obligasyon na bubuo sa espiritual na aspeto ng isang Muslim. Through the Hajj, a Muslim is united with other Muslims around the world, performing rituals and acts of worshiping God, making pilgrimage not only fulfilling a religious obligation, but also believed as a chance to seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to grow closer to Him, and to walk in the footsteps of prophets. That is why, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we Muslims spend years hoping that we would be able to perform Hajj. We are saving up money and waiting for a permit to embark on the trip. There are about 6 to 10 million Muslims in the Philippines, and most of us have not performed this important pillar of Islam. As such, our government created the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, or NCMF, tasked, among others, to administer all programs, projects, and activities, formulate the necessary rules and regulations, and coordinate with pertinent offices to ensure the success of the annual Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In short, under the law, the NCMF must ensure the success of the Hajj. But so far, under the administration of the NCMF, the success of the Hajj continues to be desired rather than expected. There have always been complaints on improper accommodation, food, and transportation. Some pilgrims were complaining that their hotel accommodation is old, dilapidated, and in some instances had no water or with limited water supply with cockroaches. Some pilgrims were asking why they were served only pancit and itlog for their meal in the hotel, the cost of which would not even reach the 300 pesos that they paid, if we are to compute the amount the pilgrim paid per meal. In one instance, their bus did not arrive on time, so they had to walk under the scorching heat of the sun without water. In other instances, their flight from the Philippines was canceled, prompting them to buy a new ticket at a much higher price. Some were not able to board their airplane from Saudi back to the Philippines because their names were not in the manifesto. During the 2023 Hajj, no less than Philippine Embassy charged the affair. Romel Romato was quoted saying that, "I visited our Filipino pilgrims in Minna on June 28 to ascertain their condition. Most of our pilgrims have experienced logistical challenges during the Hajj. They expect improvements in the NCMF's arrangement for accommodation, food, and transportation, and etc. It appears that instead of properly administering the Hajj, the NCMF has apparently been acting as a travel agency or a service provider for hotel, transportation, and other logistics. The NCMF has been acting like a middleman, a businessman, instead of a government entity that will ensure the success of the annual Hajj. In effect, the pilgrims were spending more but receiving substandard services. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, several privileged speeches were delivered in this august chamber regarding this mishandling of our pilgrims. Sa katunayan, ang inyong lingkod ay naghain ng resolusyon para imbestigahan ang pagsasagawa ng tauhang Hajj. Nagkaroon na rin ng pagdinig patungkol dito na pinangunahan ng Committee on Public Accounts. A committee report is now being drafted, hopefully recommending the prosecution, among others, of those who failed to perform their duties or abuse in their authority. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is not our primary intention to just put to jail those who are guilty of malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance, or even graft and corruption in the performance of their duties. Our purpose is to see to it that Filipino Muslims who are able can make their pilgrimage to Mecca to fulfill their obligation successfully and as comfortable as possible, and not prevented by the inefficiencies and corruption committed by some officers and employees of NCMF or other government agencies. In this connection, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this proposed legislation seeks to reduce the powers and functions of the NCMF from administration to merely representation and coordination. Instead of administering all programs, projects, and activities related to Hajj with the power to formulate the necessary rules and regulations, it is proposed that the NCMF be given only the authority to represent the Muslim Filipino pilgrims to the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and coordinate with pertinent offices to ensure the success of the annual Hajj or pilgrimage. Under this proposed measure, it is envisioned that the NCMF is now expressly prohibited from procuring services such as hotel accommodation, food, transportation, and other logistics that are not specifically required by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and to which Muslim Filipino pilgrims should be given freedom of choice by allowing them to procure directly from service providers. There is an increasing clamor on the mishandling by the NCMF under the present law of the money collected from the pilgrims. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the power of the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment of the NCMF is now proposed to be reduced to coordination with pertinent offices. Instead of formulating the necessary guidelines, it shall merely monitor the timely booking of travel arrangements, such as flights and hotels, and processing the pilgrim's travel documentation, such as passports and visas. It is now expressly prohibited from collecting fees, booking with hotels, procuring food, materials, and supplies for the pilgrims, and arrangement of flights to and from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Under this amendatory bill, Muslim Filipino pilgrims shall be accorded not only free choice of travel agencies and airlines guaranteed under the existing law, but also free choice of service providers for hotel accommodation, food, transportation, and other logistics not specifically required or regulated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Under this proposed measure, Muslim Filipino pilgrims shall be allowed to directly register with the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah of Saudi Arabia, book and pay for their flights, accommodation, and other services and requirements in connection with the annual Hajj to Mecca. In other words, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this proposed measure shall provide better services to Muslim Filipino pilgrims through privatization of the annual Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This representation, therefore, urge the approval of this amendatory measure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to interpolate, I move that we terminate the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of sponsorship and debate is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The period of amendments is open. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual or committee amendments, I move to terminate the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The period of amendments is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now, Mr. Speaker, 1 minute suspend. I move to suspend session for a minute.
Session suspended. Session resumes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the period of amendments there being terminated, I move that we now vote on second reading House Bill number 10867.
As many as are in favor of House Bill 10867, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 10867 is hereby approved on second reading. Congratulations. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, I move that we recognize the guests of Honorable Jefferson F. Congun from the 1st District of Zambales. They are namely Dr. Jefferson M. Sadera, Professor John Joseph Hoy, Dr. Fevi Von Asistio, and the students from Pulumban College, Olongapo City. They are namely Yesha May Mendoza, John Carlo Magdaong, Precious Carla Del Rosario, Avril Melanie Sonyo, William Umali Jr., Luis Gail Laguatan, Jane Christian Abaro, Ariza Galido, Kevin Brian Sintenta, Elena Marithe Cruz, Samantha Robinson, Jamie Ann Deada, Kyla Azarcon, Angel Jorizel, Sasis, Charis Lasala, Christopher Gepulano, Sara de los Reyes, Felizmena Mila, Paulo Angelo Padua, Aurora S. Aurora, Nina Marie Alisa Manglikmot, Heather Mariel Ramos, Chad Genesis Panoy, Julian Ross Holgado III, Danabel Muli, Christopher John Elbano, Andrea May Abanes, Jacqueline Anduhare, Raven Paul de la Cruz, J. Ann Grace Empeño, Tisha Ivana Navarro, Francine Marie Ramirez, Rich Henson Robles, Riley Ann Rose Sabal, Elise Lorraine Tiglao, and Stacy Kindara.
We welcome the guests of the Honorable Gentleman from the First District of Zambales, the Honorable Jefferson Konghun, guests who are students and professors of Columban College in Olongapo City. Thank you for your visit. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Mabuhay po kayo. Session resumes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to consider House Resolution Number 2001, contained in Committee Report 1201, for its adoption, and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the House Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2001.
House Resolution 2001, resolution congratulating and commending World Tennis Champion Alexandra Maniego Iyala for winning the International Tennis Federation Women's 75 Crossy Boubour Doubles Championship title held in France on March 25 to 31, 2024.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt House Resolution Number 2001.
As many as are in favor of the adoption of House Resolution 2001, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2001 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration for the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution Number 24, contained in Committee Report Number 1215, and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House Concurrent Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the House Concurrent Resolution 24.
House Concurrent Resolution 24, concurrent resolution granting consent to Lieutenant General Charlton Sean M. Garland, former Commandant of the Philippine Marine Corps and current Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, to receive the Legion of Merit Award from the Government of the United States of America.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution Number 24.
As many as are in favor of House Concurrent Resolution 24, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Concurrent Resolution 24 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration for adoption of House Resolution Number 2022, contained in Committee Report Number 1226, and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2022.
House Resolution 2022, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a Philippine Consulate General in the state of Washington, United States of America.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 2022.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 2022, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2022 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to consider House Resolution 779 for its adoption. House Resolution Number 779 as contained in Committee Report Number 1227 for its adoption, and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 779.
House Resolution 779, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the province of Bukidnon.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 779.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 779, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 779 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration for adoption of House Resolution Number 826 as contained in Committee Report Number 1228, and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House
Is
Resolution.
there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 826.
House Resolution 826, a resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the municipality of San Jose Occidental, Mindoro.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 826.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 826, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 826 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration for adoption of House Resolution Number 1804 as contained in Committee Report 1218, and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House
There-
Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1804.
House Resolution 1804, a resolution congratulating and commending Filipino boxer Weljon Mindoro for his knockout victory in Plant City, Florida, last July 11, 2024.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 1804.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 1804, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 1804 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to consider House Resolution Number 2020 as contained in Committee Report Number 1219 for its adoption, and ask the Secretary General be requested to read the title of the said House Resolution.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2020.
House Resolution 2020, resolution urging the Department of Education to suspend after a comprehensive preparation the regular academic program for 8 to 12 weeks and implement an effective learning intervention recovery program for K-12 learners to ensure that they shall attain functional literacy and numeracy.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 2020.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 2020, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2020 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution Number 2030 as contained in Committee Report 1233 for its adoption, and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the House
Is
Resolution.
there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2030.
House Resolution 2030, resolution expressing the strong support and endorsement of the House of Representatives on the inclusion of the proposed Luzon Eastern Seaboard Road Network in the government's infrastructure flagship programs and the early implementation of the North Long-Haul Railway Project, and urging the Department of Public Works and Highways and the Department of Transportation to prioritize the preparation of the feasibility studies of both projects.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution Number 2030.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 2030, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2030 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session resumes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to consider Committee Report Number 1234 and ask the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the Committee Report 1234.
Committee Report 1234 on the privileged speech delivered on November 14, 2023 of Representative Albert S. Garcia, titled Promoting Sustainable Mobility Through EVs.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the findings and recommendations contained in Committee Report Number 1234.
As many as are in favor of the adoption of the findings and recommendations contained in the Committee Report 1234, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Committee Report 1234 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session resumes.
Mr.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill number 10926, printed copies of which were distributed to the members pursuant to the rules of the House. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill 10926 and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill number 10926, an act renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Manila Electric Company under Republic Act number 9209 entitled an act granting the Manila Electric Company a franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a distribution system for the conveyance of electric power to the end users in the cities, municipalities of Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, and Rizal, and certain cities and municipalities, barangays in Batangas, Laguna, Quezon, and Pampanga. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 10926. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Omentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Baskug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Pernos, Billones, Piron, Bolilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro Franz, Castro Jean, Celeste, Sendanya, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalaw, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Colliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayanghirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Kali, Dimaporo City Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Udela, Farinas, Fernandez,
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Yes, the pleasure of the Honorable Fernandez.
my vote is no for the renewal of franchise of Meralco. And I will explain my vote later on. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
The
Speaker.
gentleman may do so.
Ferrer Antonio. Ferrer Juliet Marie. Flores. Cortez. Frasco. Fresnedi. Fuentebella. Galeos. Garcia Albert. Garcia Dante. Garcia Jose Arturo. Garcia Maria Angela. Garcia Pablo Jan. Garcia Vincent. Gardiola. Garin. Gasataya. Gato. Go Ed Christopher. Go Mark. Goles. Gomez. Gonzaga. Gonzales Aurelio. Gonzales Neptali. Gonzales Sandro. Goriseta. Guico. Gintu. Gulias. Gutierrez. Haresco. Ataman. Hernandez. Herrera. Oribata. Javier. Co Olga. Co Ricardo. Co Wilton. Konghun. Labad-labad. Lakson. Lakson Noel. Lagman. Lagon Daphne. Lagon Sani. Lara. Lazatin. Lee. Legarda. Libanan. Limkaychong. Loyola. Luistro. Lumayag. Makapagal Arroyo. Maceda. Madrona. Magsino. Malapitan. Mangawang. Manikis. Manuel.
Mr. Speaker,
What is the pleasure of the Honorable Manuel?
my vote for the bill is no, and I would like to explain my vote. Thank
The
you.
gentleman may do so at the conclusion of the vote.
Marañon. Marcoleta. Marcos. Mariano Hernandez. Marinho. Marquez. Martinez. Mastura. Matibag. Matugas. Mendoza. Mercado. Mercado Revilla. Miguel. Momo. Morden. Nava. Nisay. Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe. Nograles Margarita. Nolasco. Uwaminal. Olaso. Olivares. Ongchuan. Ordanes. Ortega. Uwano Dizon. Padiernos. Paduano. Paglas. Palma. Panaligan. Pancho. Panotes. Pascual. Peña. Pimentel. Plaza. Pleito. Primicia Sagabas. Pumaren. Puno. Kimbo. Rama. Rehencia. Remulla. Revilla Brian. Revilla Ramonjolo. Reyes. Rillo. Rivera. Robes. Rodriguez Eulogio. Rodriguez Rufus. Roman. Romero. Romualdez Ferdinand Martin. Romualdez Yadamari. Romualdo. Romulo. Roque. Sakdalan. Sagarbaria. Sakaluran. Salceda. Sali. Salimbangon. Salo. Santos. Saulug. Silverio. Singson Richel. Singson Ronald. Singson Mihan. Solon. Suwan. Swansing Horacio. Swansing Micaela Angela. Suarez. Talyado. Tamayo. Tambunting. Tan Joseph. Tan Keith Micah. Tan Reynolds Michael. Tan Samir. Tan Stephen James. Tan Tambut. Tan Chay. Tanhuatco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Giselle Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 10926. Abalos, Abante, Acop, Agaraw, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Ang, Arbison, Omentado, Balindong, Barbers, Bautista, Biron, Bustos, Cabredo, Kawagdan, Castro Jean, Sendanya, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Cruz Ricardo, Pua, Divinesha, Dimaporo City Amina, Tuavit, Tuhali, Duterte, Ecleo, Emano, Estrella, Farinas, Flores, Frasco, Garcia Albert, Garcia Vincent, Garin, Goed Christopher, Goles, Gonzaga, Gonzales Sandro, Gutierrez, Oribata, Ko Olga, Lagman, Lee, Legarda, Lim Kay Chong, Luistro, Macapagal Arroyo, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Maniquis, Marañon, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marinho, Marquez, Martinez, Mendoza, Miguel, Momo, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nolasco, Uaminal, Olaso, Ongchuan, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Pancho, Pascual, Revilla Brian, Reyes, Rilio, Roman, Romero, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Singson Mihan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela, Talyado, Tamayo, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Huatco, Teodoro, Tutor, T, Valeriano, Valmayor, Velasco, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Violago, U Divina Grace, Zamora Amparo Maria.
With 186 members voting in the affirmative, 7 in the negative, and 4 abstentions, House Bill number 10926 is hereby approved on third and final reading. We will now proceed to the explanation of votes. First to explain his vote is the Honorable Dan S. Fernandez of the Lone District of Santa Rosa. Representative Fernandez has 3 minutes to explain his vote.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. These are the reasons for the no vote on Meralco franchise. Since 2009, we have been fighting for the least cost manner to the consumers. Ayaw sumunod ng Meralco sa mandato ng EPIRA Law na dapat po ay electricity are being given to the consumers in the least cost manner. And of course, dapat reasonable ang rate of return to the investor. Sa pamamagitan ng mapaglinlang na financial and accounting practices upang suportahan ang kanilang aplikasyon for rate approval na nagbibigay ng di makatarungan tubo sa Meralco. Ang ikalawang reason po, Mr. Speaker, ay ang di pagtalima sa mga kondisyon na nakasaad sa kanilang prangkisa. Partikular ang pagbibigay nito ng Finance and Operation Report sa Kongreso. Ilang beses po natin hihiningi ang kanilang mga reports, hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa sinasubmit sa atin. Ang obligasyong maging public and transparent ang kanilang rate at ang pinakamahalaga ang hindi pag-abuso sa kanilang market power bilang isang natural monopoly sa kanilang nasasakupang franchise area. At ang uli, Mr. Speaker, ang patuloy nitong paglabag sa Commonwealth Act 146, partikular ang paglalaan ng depreciation fund or account upang mapanatili ang estado ng kanilang mga assets at equipment. Ang hindi paglalaan ng depreciation fund na ito ay nagiging sanhi upang ang Meralco ay laging pumunta sa merkado at mangutang o kaya naman ay gamitin ang pera ng consumer upang panatilihin ang kanilang mga assets na ginagamit sa distribution ng kuryente. Mahirap intindihin itong depreciation fund, but I hope someday that this Congress will eventually find that Meralco is really abusing their power. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker, at mabuhay ang Kongresong ito.
Next to explain his vote on House Bill 10926 is the Honorable Raul Manuel of Kabataan Party List.
Salamat, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, lubos na tumututol ang Kabataan Party List sa pag-aproba sa panukala para sa pag-renew ng prangkisa ng Meralco. Una, walang kahit anong urgency para ipasa ito ngayon dahil hindi pa nga mag-expire ang kasalukuyang prangkisa ng Meralco hanggang 2028. Ang pagmamadali sa renewal na ito ay nagpapakita ng kawalan ng pagsasaalang-alang sa interes ng publiko. Pangalawa, patuloy na nagdurusa ang mamamayang Pilipino sa napakataas na singil sa kuryente ng Meralco. Ayon sa mga pag-aaral, ang Pilipinas ay isa sa may pinakamataas na singil sa kuryente sa buong Asya. Malaking pasanin ito hindi lamang sa mga ordinaryong consumer, kundi maging sa mga maliliit na negosyo. Ikatlo, Mr. Speaker, may matinding pagdududa kung bakit biglang minamadali ang renewal na ito. May mga indikasyon na ito ay bahagi ng isang mas malaking iskema ng mga oligarkong malapit sa administrasyon para kontrolin ang sektor ng kuryente, katulad ng nangyari sa mga isla sa Visayas. Ikaapat, hindi pa nasusuri ng husto ang performance record ng Meralco at ang kanilang mga plano para mapabuti ang serbisyo sa mga consumer. Ang pag-aproba sa franchise renewal ng walang masinsinang pagsusuri ay taliwas sa interes ng ating mga kababayan. Bilang kinatawan po ng kabataan at ng mamamayan, hindi maaaring payagan ang ganitong klaseng pagpapasa ng batas na nagsisibi lamang sa interes ng iilan at hindi sa nakararaming Pilipino. Dapat unahin ang kapakanan ng publiko at hindi ang interes ng malalaking negosyo at kanilang mga kaalyado sa politika. Sa mga kadahilanang ito, bumuboto tayo ng no sa panukalang ito. Salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill number 10698, printed copies of which were distributed to the members pursuant to the rules of the House. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill 10698 and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill Number 10698, an act granting the Camarines Sur 4th Electric Cooperative Incorporated, Casureco 4, a franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, own, manage, and maintain distribution system for the conveyance of electric power to the end users in the municipalities of Ocampo, Tigaon, Sagnay, Goa, San Jose, Lagonoy, Presentacion, Garchitorena, and Caramoan in the province of Camarines Sur. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill Number 10698. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Omentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Baskug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Bernos, Bilyones, Piron, Olilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro Franz, Castro Jean, Celeste, Sendanya, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizaldi, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayanghirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo Sitiamina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Fariñas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Cortez, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeyos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed Christopher, Gomar, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Wico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Jaresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Oribata, Javier, Ko Olga, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Libanan, Limkaychong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marinho, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles Margarita, Nolasco, Uwaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Pleito, Primisa Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Bryan, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Rilio, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Santos, Saulug, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Watco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Giselle Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 10698. Abalos, Abante, Acop, Agaraw, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Ang, Arbison, Omentado, Balindong, Barbers, Bautista, Biron, Bustos, Cabredo, Kawagdan, Castro Jane, Sendanya, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizaldi, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Colada, Colliantes, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Di Venecia, Dimaporo City Amina, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, Ecleo, Emano, Estrella, Parinias, Flores, Frasco, Garcia Albert, Garcia Vincent, Garin, Goed Christopher, Goles, Gonzaga, Gonzalez Sandro, Gutierrez, Oribata, Ko Olga, Lagman, Lee, Legarda, Lim Kaichong, Luistro, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Maniquis, Marañon, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marinio, Marquez, Martinez, Miguel, Momo, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nolasco, Uaminal, Olaso, Ongchuan, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Pancho, Pascual, Revilla Bryan, Reyes, Rilio, Roman, Romero, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Singson Mihan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Talyado, Tamayo, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Watco, Teodoro, Tutor, T. Valeriano, Valmayor, Velasco, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Violago, U. Divina Grace, Zamora Amparo Maria.
With 196 members voting in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 1 abstention, House Bill number 10698 is hereby approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we direct the Secretary General to transmit to the Senate all bills that were approved on third reading.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of a message from the Senate informing the House that the Senate passed with amendments House Bill number 7316, establishing the Baguio City High School for the Arts. We have been advised that the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, sponsor of the aforementioned House Bill, as well as the authors, has no objections to the amendments of the Senate to the said measure. In accordance with our rules, I move to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill number 7316.
There is a motion to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill number 7316. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of a message from the Senate informing the House that the Senate passed with amendments House Bill number 8700, establishing the Baguio City Sports High School. We have been advised that the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Youth and Sports Development, sponsors of the aforementioned House Bill, as well as the authors, have no objections to the amendments of the Senate to the said measure. In accordance with our rules, I move to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill number 8700.
There is a motion to concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill number 8700. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution 2063 and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2063.
House Resolution 2063, resolution congratulating and commending Rian Micaela A. Maligzi for winning the prestigious 124th Women's U.S. Amateur Golf Championship held at Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma, United States of America, and the 75th U.S. Girls Junior Golf Championship held at El Caballero Country Club in Tarzana, California, USA.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution 2063.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 2063, please say aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2063 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider for adoption House Resolution 2062 and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 2062.
House Resolution 2062, resolution expressing the profound condolences of the House of Representatives to the family of Honorable Candido P. Pancrudo Jr., former representative of the 1st Legislative District of the Province of Bukidnon during the 14th Congress.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 2062.
As many as are in favor of House Resolution 2062, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 2062 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session resumes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn session until Monday, November 11, 2024 at 3 p.m.
Session is adjourned until Monday, November 11 at 3 p.m.